Hey there, thanks for joining me. This is Dr. Alette, and I have a few things that I want to share with you that I've been thinking about over the last few days. Now, if you're anything like me, when it comes to doing something new, something outside your normal bound, then you can be a professional, productive procrastinator. And you know what I mean, right? You're not really doing things that are wasting your time, but you are wasting your time, right? Putting it off. Um, for me, I can tell myself I'm finding more information, I'm doing more research, I'm getting more resources, I'm getting more materials, I am making sure everything is going to be just right. That's a real big one of mine, making sure it's all going to be just right. I don't like to present anything that's going to be less than my ideal in my head. And I have to come to realize that the ideal in my head is like the perfect thing. And so that's never going to happen. So I keep striving for it and I keep putting it off. And doing this video is one of the things that I've been putting off. And I've finally been, the back of my hand has been slapped, the back of my head's been slapped, figuratively, obviously. And, just God's been saying, go do it, go do it, go do it. So I'm finally going to do it because I don't want to continue to be disobedient. My pastor says that delayed obedience is still disobedience, and I don't want to be disobedient any longer just because I'm anxious or, I don't know, not afraid, but just trying to make sure it's like just right. Okay. So I'm just going to share some things that I've been thinking about. And one of them is that delayed obedience. It says in Psalm 46:10, and I'm not going to try to explain or try to explain the entire thing, but just what sticks out to me. And Psalm 46:10 says, surrender your anxiety, be silent and stop your striving, and you will see that I am God. I am the God above all the nations, and I will be exalted throughout the whole world. And that just is really continues to bring home to me that it's not on me to do what I need to do when I am, or rather to do all the things when I am doing something for God. Because if it's something He's told me to do, then He's given me what I need to do for it. And I need to just go do it, right? Just step out there, be brave, be courageous, be whatever you need to be so that you can do what you need to do. It's not going to fall on your shoulders, whether or not it's the good thing, whether or not it's a right thing, whether or not you've got all the things that you need. It's on God. It's God's thing. It's His choice. It's His production, basically. You are there to be the one to deliver whatever it is, be the one to deliver the message, be the one to deliver the action, be the one to deliver the help, be the one to deliver whatever it is He tells you to deliver. But it's not on you to have all of the necessary components. It's not even on you to have the other person receive it and understand it and say, oh, that was so great. That's also on God. You are just the one there to do it. Go do it. Just be confident. Just be courageous. Just have faith enough to say, God, you said do it. I'm going to go do it. And it's on you. It's up to Him to make sure that it works. It's up to Him to make sure that the message gets across, right? It's up to Him. It's not us. It's all up to Him. So we just simply need to go out, do what we're supposed to do, follow directions, right? And I say, one of the things I just told a friend of mine recently is that we must show up so God can show up, right? If we are the ones here being his hands and feet and his eyes and his mouth and his ears, then we have to be in place. And if we are in place where we're supposed to be, then he will do what he needs to get done. But we simply need to be the one to be ready, to be available. And, going back to when I was talking earlier about having these standards, right? I want to make sure everything is just right. Okay. Again, it's not on me to make sure everything is just right. It's not on me to make sure it's perfect. It's on me to make sure I'm available. And I need to give myself enough grace to go ahead and do the thing. Because when I give myself grace, I am being like God in that he gives me grace, right? He is full of grace and he gives us grace daily. And he gives us the opportunity to be able to do what we need to do, but also he enables us to do it. And he also is able to say, you know what? You did as best as you could do. And I'm not going to hold against you what you couldn't do because you didn't have the ability to do it. Right? He doesn't do that. He doesn't hold things against us because we're not meeting a fictitious high standard. That's not the way it goes. So when it comes to having the standards, God has a standard, no doubt, but we can't expect more from ourselves than he is willing to give us grace for. Okay? Meaning we have to give ourselves grace like God gives us grace. And I have written down here, to do otherwise puts your standard above God's standard. Okay, think about this. If you don't give yourself grace, then you are holding yourself to a higher standard than God is holding you to, which means you are putting yourself above God's standard, which means you are actually putting yourself above God, right? To do otherwise, other than give yourself grace, you are putting your standard above God's standard, and in correlation, you're putting yourself above God. So you need to check yourself, okay? You need to check yourself because you're not God. And if he can give us grace, then you need to give yourself grace, as well as give everyone else grace, right? But give yourself grace. Cut yourself some slack, especially when you're doing something new. If it's new, then you definitely need to give yourself the room to grow. You have to start somewhere. And when you start somewhere, then you can move up. But if you expect yourself to be at the top when you're starting, you're being unrealistic. And that is so unfair to yourself. That is truly unfair to yourself. Be realistic. When you're doing something new, you're going to mess up. You're going to have problems. You're going to have to do restarts. But you got to start, right? I also say that God can't bless the steps we don't take. We have to go somewhere. We have to do something. If we continue to delay doing what we are supposed to do, because it's something God told us to do, he can't bless the steps we don't take. He can't bless and make grow the seeds we never plant. So again, we need to just do it. We need to go out, start it, take the step. He will make up the difference. He will fill in the blanks. But we got to go out there and do it. We have to do it. And I'm speaking to you as much as I'm speaking to myself, because he has me doing a lot of new things in this new season, and I am nervous about them. I am imagining, what I think the standard should be, but I have to give myself grace and realize I'm starting. I'm doing something new. And so in that new season, I just got to try it and pray that he continues to give me the grace to be able to grow. And as we grow, we'll get better. As we get better, we will be more confident. But we need to start with some confidence, start with some courage. And as you're growing, don't try to be different. You're already different. Especially if he has you doing a new thing, it's going to be a different thing, right? Even if it's not different for the entire world, it's different for you. So you don't have to try to be different. You are different. But it's beautiful. And you're starting. So take that step. Check yourself. Make sure your standards aren't too high. Give yourself some grace. And thank him for just having confidence in you. Because sometimes what I do, I simply have to pray and say, God, give me as much confidence in me as you have confidence in me. Help me see my potential as well as you see my potential. Help me to see myself like you see me. Because the way I see me, I'm a lot more critical. So I want to see myself through his eyes instead of through my own eyes. And the more I do that, the more I'm courageous enough to go out and step and say, yes, God, you said go do this. We can do it. Let's try it. Let's go for it. Okay? So that's what I've been thinking about lately. Just some thoughts. And I hope it gives you something to think about. And go out and try something new. If he's been telling you to go do something, go do it. Stop being anxious. Stop being nervous. Don't be afraid. And stop productively procrastinating. Okay? Remember, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Okay, this is Thoughts for the Day. Have a good one, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.